But I got a call from an old friend, so I packed my bag and headed down the road. Hey, how you doing? I'm alright. Well, where you been?
And the music is compliments of tonight's guest. He's a singer and a songwriter, husband, a father of four, retired Army major with tours in Iraq, Bosnia, and Kosovo. He's got a master's in human relations and a PhD in organizational leadership. He's a cross-country coach and was a university professor, and now planning to challenge Congressman Bill Foster in the 11th Congressional District seat. Michael Pierce, welcome to On Target Radio.
Thanks very much. I really appreciate it.
Surprised you
Great to be here.
Surprised you with a little bit of your song there, didn't I?
I'm flabbergasted. Thank you so much.
He's gobsmacked.
We always aim to please, right? We aim to please.
That's right.
Yep. Which, considering we're all shooters, that brings a whole new meaning
easy
to
to
that
do.
sentence. But yeah, indeed. So welcome. Got a lot to talk about tonight, and because you're a prior military guy, I think one of the topics that comes to mind immediately: border security. We've lost control of this country, have we not?
I think the word is gobsmacked.
It
You
is.
know, it's like,
It's shocking.
That's Gretchen's favorite word that she can actually say. On the radio.
and I would say we're going to have to double down on that. This is just incredible because so many people have said this so many times. Wow, if you can't control your border, how can you control the rest of the things of your country? I mean, primary job of a government is to defend the borders. I mean, otherwise you just got the Huns coming in and they're raiding you. I mean, this has been time immemorial. So this is a serious issue, and we need to get a handle on it. I mean, it's a complex overall way to fix the entire issue, but immediately some common sense things just have to be applied. And from solutions-wise, looking at the border, you got to finish the wall. You got to increase the availability of resources, personnel in the Customs and Border Patrol exponentially. And then when you do have people, you got to treat them in a really humane way. If you're going to hold on to people, you got to treat them right. But that doesn't mean you got to give them. When I was 35 years ago, when I was in France, I was studying. I met a Tunisian student there, and he said to me, "Michael, when you invite friends to," at this time he was talking about some issues over in the Middle East. He said, "When you invite your brother to stay at your house, you do not give him your house."
Exactly. Have you heard what they did in Hungary about the fence?
Unbelievable. Yeah.
96 miles. They had, I've got numbers. They were getting 6,353 illegal aliens crossing the border every day, put up the fence 870 the next day, and it's been dropping down since then.
Yeah, and if you take a look around in that neck of the woods, they decided, okay, it's not going to work going through Hungary, and so it's one of the ways that nations are trying to push on and put the strain on the West, which is why Lukashenko has put people trying to go through Ukraine, trying to put and go into Poland because of the issues going on in that triangulated area between Ukraine, Lithuania, and the Baltics, and Poland, and Belarus. And so this is a way, it's kind of a soft, if you will, a soft way of power being pushed against the West's interests. So the migration thing is a tool of war.
Well, it's how
Absolutely.
many people talked about the wall won't work, it was a folly.
Oh yeah. There's no point in building. Nancy Pelosi says there's no point in building a wall. She's got a wall around her house.
There's no point in building a wall if they're just going to let everybody in anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think that most reasonable people would probably recognize that a wall is going to keep most people out, and it's going to make it a lot more difficult for everybody else. But a wall is not effective if you don't have people to enforce the rest of it and watch that border. So it's a multi-pronged solution to the problem. And on top of that, you have to take care of what the end result is. You have to fix why are people coming across the wall. It amazes me that we just let people just come in at the same time as we're ignoring all the jobs that are going out and industries being sent over to China. When, hey, wow, what a crazy idea. How about we move some of those industries down to countries where all these people are leaving from and gave them some opportunity there? Instead of everybody just, because they were losing the jobs anyway, right?
Some incentive to stay in their home country.
Yeah.
My understanding is the Biden White House actually has the Air Force now busing people into someplace in New Mexico, which is just, I'm not sure, but that isn't treason, to be honest with you.
Is it better than putting them up in hotels like they were doing, or
Well, I don't know.
6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
right?
Yeah.
You're listening to On Target Radio, and this is AM560 The Answer. Give us a call, 312-642-5600. Our guest this evening is Michael Pierce. He's running in the 11th, in the primary in the 11th Congressional District ultimately against Bill Foster. When we talk about security, that the border, of course, is clearly one issue. But we also have one mayor, for instance, who thought that it was a perfectly peaceful exercise of freedom of speech for a mob to take over 6 square blocks in her city, including a police station.
Summer of Love. Come on, man.
The Summer of Love. That's right. Exactly.
Come
Yeah.
on. Hey, you're there. You were there. You're talking
I
about
was
it
there.
in the Red Room.
I was there. Yeah. But I mean, how do you deal with this? We have a mayor in Chicago who doesn't like cops and yet has 6 patrol cars surrounding her house every single night of the week. And when questioned about it, she says, "Well, I have to protect my family." Well, who doesn't?
This is part of the this is part of the challenge that a lot of us who are like most of the time just regular people want to live regular decent lives have to face. We don't get the luxury of having all the police protection around us. We have to live that world that they've created where there's this lawlessness going on, and it's unfortunately, and it can be, today it's more and more throughout. It's not just limited to one particular section. Because of the way that they've lost control at the border, you've got all kinds of other tertiary effects that are coming in and causing problems. And you've got people who are ransacking places on the one hand, so you've also got people who are coming in and they're having, turf battles, and then you've got other people who are there just, the drugs and criminals that are coming in as a result of probably other challenges. But you get all of these factors together and people's ability to be secure. Well, a lot of people would like to be more secure, and this is it's two people, two forces basically against each other, and the guy in the middle is it's the person in the middle is the regular people of the world.
What you probably don't know is all 3 of us have been law enforcement at one point or another. I did 20 years as a part-time. Gretchen was a state cop, and Eric is currently part-time.
Right.
I guess we can't really say where with
No,
who.
you
Yeah.
can't.
But if people know where you live, they know with who. But this is I mean, you see, just in a day-to-day law enforcement capacity, things have changed.
Yeah, it's definitely changed. I mean, just the whole dynamic is, there's not even words for it. That's why I'm at a loss for words.
They've taken the teeth. They've taken the teeth away. It's a toothless tiger now.
Sure.
And now they're trying to take the bark away, from the barking dog. Yeah, people can't even express their outrage at what's been going on. It's not going on everywhere. We understand that, but in the places where it is going on, like out in Portland where you described that, there's no excuse for that kind of behavior. If we're living the America of 2021 and 2020 is a far cry from the America of the 1960s. So many things have gone up, and the world's so much of a better place if they would just take a look and stop and say, hey, wait a minute. There are ways that people can have their issues discussed. There's a way that we can take. Instead, they take away the tools that make a civil society able to police and protect itself. So when you take the police and protecting yourself, people have no choice but to take up arms and make themselves secure, because if the government's going to do it, people are going to take care of themselves. It's just the bottom line. One of the reasons why we have to have the Second Amendment. I mean, thank God we've got it.
Well, it is interesting too, and we're going to have to take a break, but it is interesting that the courts more and more are finding in favor of the Second Amendment, and there is a backlash of more and more laws trying to be passed against the Second Amendment. So anyway, we're going to have to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about liberty, and that, I know, Gretchen, that's a favorite subject of yours.
It sure is.
So that's what we're going to do when we return with more On Target Radio. Our guest again is Michael Pierce. You'll want to hear what he has to say on the subject of liberty. All that and more when we return. And you're listening to AM560.
The Answer.
And it won't be long till I'm on top to stay.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson.
On Tuesday, Dr. Rochelle Walensky, CDC Director, endorsed the CDC's recommendation that children 5 to 11 be vaxxed.
Nobody in 2021, thank God, has died from COVID 17 and younger. Maybe your kid might get sick, but they don't need the vaccine. When there was polio, those kids needed the vaccine. Measles, chickenpox. But this, it's not needed.
Start your day with Chicago's Morning Answer. Weekday mornings starting at 5 on AM560 The Answer.
Safer USA, Chicago's most trusted name in firearm training, is offering beginners classes, tactical pistol and rifle, long-range rifle to 600 yards, and the most comprehensive Illinois concealed carry program available. AM560 on-target radio co-hosts David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz will prepare you to carry a firearm for personal protection, including firearm, holster, and ammunition selection. A comprehensive law review designed to keep you out of trouble and even how to deal with home invasions. Firearm, ammunition, holster, class notebook are provided. Safer USA and the Aurora Sportsman's Club invites you to participate in this one-of-a-kind Illinois concealed carry program that also qualifies you for Florida, Utah, and Arizona non-resident permits. Find out what over 6,000 students already know at saferusa.com.
Or call 815-741-3474. That's 815-741-3474. Safer USA. Choosing to own a firearm is your business. Teaching you to own it responsibly is ours.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule. Changing the world, one life at a time.
The question is, how do you quantify it? How do you measure how good it's doing? And the only thing I can come up with is the word wellness. I just feel like everything is running on all cylinders. So I'm doing pretty good. You know, I'm not running a marathon, but physically I feel very, very good. The only thing I can compare it to is a young, healthy kid. He only has a problem when he notices it. Otherwise, he's just living life to the fullest. You know what I mean? That's how I feel.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or by going to balanceofnature.com and make sure to receive this special radio offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Did you miss the open enrollment this year? I can help you purchase a PPO health insurance plan all year long that eliminates the mandatory maternity coverage. This is Tom Marabali, and if you're 50 years old and are covered by the Affordable Care Act, you're paying for maternity coverage whether you want the coverage or not. The least expensive ACA PPO health insurance plan is $540 per month with a total out-of-pocket cost of $8,550 before your bills are paid at 100%. I can eliminate the mandatory maternity coverage and lower your monthly premium down to $273 per month with a total out-of-pocket cost of $2,500 before your bills are paid at 100%. That's a savings of $6,050 in total out-of-pocket cost per person with my lower deductible, and you save $267 per month with my lower premiums. For a free quote and to see if you qualify, call me, Tom Marabali, at 630-863-3477. That's 630-863-3477.
But I remember a golden day at a county fair just a mile away and holding my baby's hand. There were apple pies and Chevrolets, swimming holes and jolly days, and going fishing with my old man.
So we're back with Michael Pierce. He's running for Congress in the 11th Congressional District in Illinois. So we also want to spend a long segment talking about the economy. Obviously, the economy under the Biden administration not doing as well as the economy under the Trump administration.
You think?
I got 3/4 of a tank of gas today. It was like $41. I'm like, are you kidding me? I could not even believe it. But so, you know, what do you think is the first couple things we need to do to fix it, and what do you see as like the main problems that we're facing right now?
Well, I think the first thing we got to do is stop shooting ourselves in the foot. Okay, that's one area where I think the Second Amendment should probably be looked at, because we've purposely shot ourselves in the foot in terms of our energy production. You know, all these things that happen on day one. Well, on day one, we put thousands of people out of work. We shut off our economic independence, and we put ourselves on a path towards years of inflation. Okay, and to capstone that, we decided to go and dip in even more, in more trillions of dollars, just to hand that out so we can get the economy juiced, only to have that completely dissipated by the increase in the prices. So whatever money we got, we've already spent, because we've had to pay for the extra costs in both up to 50% for the home feeding that's going to happen in a few weeks. Of course, us here in Chicago, we already know that.
We
we
already
had sleet out
started.
there. But also the gas prices, and then of course there's the shortages that have arisen as a result of the policies. So if we can, and the funny thing, some of those policies are policies that have actually been in Congress that Congressman Foster actually has supported, and trying to get projected onto the national level, the policies which is limited to the ability of truckers, for example, independent truckers, and that's limited to the amount of trucks that we've got to distribute. And to go, who else came up with that brainy idea? You know, and now they want to project it nationally. So what I would do, you know, what I would recommend we do is, number one, we open up the spigots, okay? And, you know, if people have a problem with global warming, come to Chicago in the middle of January and let's talk. Let's have an outdoor Look, I'm a reasonable guy. Let's go out to Lincoln Park. You know, maybe we go to the zoo. We set up a big outdoor tent, a fest tent like they do in Germany. You know, and let's go talk about global warming, you know, in 20 degrees below zero weather, okay? Now, last time I checked, it's pretty cold outside here, and it's, you know, and I was a paperboy in Chicago back in '79, delivering the newspapers during the Great Blizzard then. Now, there have been other ones, but '71 was cold, and '77, I was delivering Elgin Daily Courier News. That was like the coldest day. I think it hit like 70, I think it was like 70 below zero in Chicago on one day. And I was like this little kid bundled up. I had the scarves all around me and stuff like that. You remember it, you know. And so then, of course, I was living down in Kankakee going to high school, and the wind just swept right across the prairie. We were living right across all of that, you know, where the Bears play football and stuff like that. I lived in the house right across from that field, and it was like one day, literally the chimney was blown over. So,
oh my gosh.
So I mean, and my mom was like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? So this is, you know, if we wanna care about our environment, yes, but energy for Americans who are going to be paying incredible amounts of money in the next several months can thank Joe Biden. And the Democrats have to own that. They can thank the policies these are self-inflicted. We've chosen to increase the taxes. And even in Illinois, I was talking to a good friend of mine up in McHenry County, Diane, and Diane says she just crosses the border up to Wisconsin because it's 50 cents cheaper. So the taxation would help a lot. And for the things where there's legitimate shortages, you know, we have to look at why there's legitimate shortages. And that has to do with, you know, government policies that are we could reverse those tomorrow and things would be so much better.
Right.
Hope that wasn't too long.
No, that's perfect. So this is a little off topic, but you're running for Congress, so nothing is really off topic. So what do you think when you win? How do you feel about the Freedom Caucus? What's your opinion of the Freedom Caucus?
That's a good question. I think that my concern is more about what we're doing here within our district, and if members of the Freedom Caucus would feel like what I'm bringing to the table is something that's interesting for them, you know, we can take a look at it. But I think that I want to be careful in my approach to things, because what happens is people box themselves into something, and then they get used as being portrayed as a certain type of conservative, overarching conservative. And, you know, there's joining types of groups at the very beginning, not really up for that. I would prefer to get a, you know, let's take a look and see what's in Washington, and let's see what other groups are out there that maybe we can be participating in that are part of the conservative movement. That's more, at the moment, that's something that when it's going to address the questions and answers that we have for District 11. You know, what are the needs of our district?
You're listening to Target Radio. This is AM560 The Answer. Give us a call, 312-642-5600. And our guest this evening is Michael Pierce, running in the in the primary for the 11th Congressional, I keep doing that, the primary for the 11th Congressional District. In general, the economy, though, the issues, there are a lot of people, Republicans, who didn't like Donald Trump because, he's eccentric and sometimes he says things that upset people, whatever.
Oh, boo-hoo.
But yes, well, exactly. That's my thought. But when it comes to the economy, and they go, well, he wasn't a real conservative. I don't care. He was a businessman.
He got stuff done.
Is that not? I mean, how do you feel about Trump?
Well, first of all, the idea that people who supported Donald Trump are part of some kind of cult or something like that,
right,
are in a cult themselves. Okay, they're the ones who they take a look in the mirror. Okay, we're regular people. Okay, we pay our taxes, we get up, we go to work, we work hard, we raise our kids, we got to pay kitchen table issues. We've got people out there who've never even had to worry about that next job because they were born with a silver spoon. I was born with a lead foot. Okay,
she was too, and she drives with it.
I mean, yeah. I don't think the vocabulary word gearhead is in a lot of these people's. They don't even understand that stuff. So when they talk about this stuff, you're coming from a completely left field. Donald Trump was a guy who was a plain-spoken guy. We understand that most people haven't. Some people his tone was a bit caustic, but if you look behind the tone and you look at the policies. We had the best policies that we could have had in years, and in just a short amount of time, the results spoke for themselves. And when we talk about the China question, which is another key part of this whole discussion, because and it partners up with security as well, by the way. But when we talk about that, Donald Trump, he said something, he went after it, and he did it. And we don't have to cloak ourselves in the mantra of Trump. But I would just point out how I'm dressed today. And 5 years ago, about to the day, I was in a debate. With somebody, and they were all saying Trump was going to lose because at that time I was working for the Department of Defense as a contractor in Europe. And I was at a debate because I was in Republicans overseas, okay? And so I was debating the Democrat person. And they were up there, they're saying all these different things. I said, you do not understand America. This was an American too, by the way. Said, look at these states. Look at the people in these states, okay? They have when is enough enough? Okay, believe me, this is not going to be. And, and by the end of the night, boom, it just switched in the other direction. Trump's policies were good for America. And I would submit to you that there's a lot of other things that can be good for America, too, if we would just let ourselves be successful. I don't know if there's ever been a country who's worked so hard to make it so difficult to be successful. And, going back to the Obama years, let's face it, it was our energy production which pulled us out of, quote, the Great Recession, which, of course, if you ask my grandmother about the Great Recession, I think she'd have a different answer on that. Those people in those days, they were poor. They don't, today, my grandfather, he on my mom's side, okay, when they were growing up, he was chopping wood. They were sharecroppers. They were like migrant workers, okay. And, my grandmother, one of her children died in a completely curable disease, but that's how poor they were. And they didn't have these programs they have today. Mm-hmm. They had, by the 10th kid who had the hand-me-down, that's how many kids they had. Right. So, you have to understand people need to put things into a context. And what Trump was doing for America, it was a rising tide for everybody. And so to answer your question, there's 50 things that he did that they completely reversed on day one. And now look at us. We got high inflation. Gas prices are already more than $1 higher. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
We're going to have to take another break. When we come back, we're going to talk about liberty. That's one of our favorite topics.
It's an excellent topic.
Absolutely. So all that and more when we return with On Target Radio. And you're listening to AM560.
The Answer.
Dr. Sebastian Gorka says we're just getting started.
This is the time not to celebrate what occurred in Virginia. This is the time for us to double down, to get serious. Everybody who's waking up around you in the last 3 months, engage them, get them on board, and get them to be politically involved.
America First with Dr. Sebastian Gorka. Afternoons at 3, right before Sean Thompson at 4 on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Laura Cantor.
Closing arguments begin tomorrow in the Kyle Rittenhouse murder trial in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Rittenhouse claims he shot 3 protesters, killing 2 of them in self-defense.
The judge will allow jurors to consider some lesser charges, he says, in this case, but also denied one of those requests. Legal experts say that the trade-off here could help get a conviction, but the lesser charges would also ensure that Kyle Rittenhouse would not receive a life sentence.
Fox's Alexis McAdams. Another Trump hotel is changing its name. Fox's Ann Carrick.
Donald Trump's family hotel company reaching an agreement to sell the rights to its Washington, D.C. hotel for $375 million, according to a report in the Wall Street Journal. Miami-based investment firm CGI Merchant Group reportedly is in contract to acquire the hotel lease for the Trump International Hotel.
The hotel is located on Pennsylvania Avenue near the White House. America's listening to Fox News.
Do you like your gun range bag? There's a really cool local company here in Chicagoland that makes the finest range bags anywhere. And these quality range bags are so inexpensive that I bet you won't hesitate to buy one. The Hackett range bags from Hackett Equipment have it all. There are compartmentalized pouches that hold 2 or 4 pistols, ammo, mags, and even targets. Basically everything you need for a day at the range in a stealth design that doesn't resemble a range bag. Nobody will know you're carrying firearms. Additionally, they're super heavy duty and will last a lifetime because Hackett bags are 30% heavier than typical range bags. And the price is unreal. The large pack is under $100 and the small one under $80. But if you visit gunrangebags.com and use the promo code AM560, you'll save an additional 10%. Hackett Equipment bags really are range bags that can hack it. That's gunrangebags.com, promo code AM560. Gunrangebags.com. Do it now.
Hi, this is Pastor Calvin from Christian Liberty Academy in Arlington Heights. As you know, our governor and state government are at war against life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It's time to take a stand. Fathers and mothers, you are responsible before God for the education of your children. We can help. For over 50 years, we have operated a Christian school in Arlington Heights, and we have served hundreds of thousands of families locally and across our nation, and even many foreign countries through our homeschool program. We have pioneered the modern homeschool movement, and we can help you from a single book to a complete curriculum. It's not too late to teach your children at home this year. Visit ChristianLiberty.com to learn more or to schedule a tour of our excellent 12-acre facility in Arlington Heights. Take action today. Visit ChristianLiberty.com and feel free to join us for a worship service starting at 11 a.m. on Sundays. ChristianLiberty.com.
Dr. Gorka here, and you know me. I am very cynical about products, especially those that claim to help people suffering from pain. So when I tell you that Relief Factor truly works, I want you to know that I mean it. I suffered from a stiff lower back for almost a decade, one so painful it made it difficult to kneel in church on Sundays. When I finally decided to give Relief Factor a try, I didn't ever imagine that I would find myself free of the pain. But that's what happened. Now I take Relief Factor every day. Almost 70% of the more than 500,000 people who have tried Relief Factor end up ordering more. That's because it works for them the way it worked for me. Isn't it time for you to get out of pain? Your first step to becoming pain-free should be to order the 3-week quick start for the discounted price of only $19.95. Go to relieffactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF to find out more about this offer. Feel the difference.
Where can you get good neighbor service and surprisingly great insurance rates? At State Farm. Because State Farm agent Finney Rachel is your one-stop shop in Chicagoland for the service you deserve at the price you want. So stop looking around. State Farm agent Finney Rachel is ready to help. Call 630-932-0300 for your surprisingly great rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements. Your local State Farm agent, Finney Rachel, can combine your home and auto. And guess what you'll get? That's right, good neighbor service with surprisingly great rates. In fact, State Farm agent Finney Rachel is your go-to agent in Chicagoland for the service you deserve at the price you want. So try combining home and auto today. State Farm agent Finney Rachel will help you mix and match things perfectly. Visit callfinney.com. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
We now return to On Target Radio on AM560 The Answer. If you have a question or an opinion, share it with us at 312-642-5600. And now, debating, debunking, and discussing today's hot issues. Here are your hosts, David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz.
And we're back with more On Target Radio. Our guest this evening is Michael Pierce. He's running in the 11th Congressional District.
I wanted to hear more of his music.
What, you wanted to hear more of what?
I wanted to hear more of his music.
Well, we burned it up. That was it.
There we go. Thank you, George.
Here you just ask and you shall receive.
Hey, that only happens
It's
here
funny
because
that-
it doesn't happen anywhere else.
That intro sounds like intro to like a Rockettes dance line type of song.
You probably had that in mind, didn't
Ouch. Ouch.
Oh,
Just the drum riff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell Andy Hug, my producer, about that. I'm gonna tell him that.
Yeah, tell him I said that.
I will.
I went to music school, so I know what the hell I'm talking about.
wow.
Okay.
We'll make the Gretchen version of this.
We'll
one
make sure
just for you.
Andy's going to be listening to this on Tuesday. I'm going to be talking to him about it. Say, Andy, we sound like Rockettes.
Your voice would have to be higher.
Yeah.
A subject that we really talk a lot about. And Gretchen once made a statement that I've repeated countless times, and that statement is George Orwell's book 1984 was meant to be a warning, not a guide, and basically that's what it's turned into. Here's what shocks me about the COVID thing. In 4 months, they were able to turn a country around, a country of people who pride themselves on being free thinkers. They don't follow, And in 4 months, we had people wearing masks, not going to church, staying in their house, and doing all that sort of stuff. And they thought it was natural. They thought it was a reasonable thing to do for a while.
I love the fact that I hear, it's a year later and, 2 different COVID variants and a socialist takeover later, and we're still wearing masks.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
The thing is that this was supposed to be temporary measures, and I think most Americans are going to get on board with temporary measures. But if you think about it, they've been canalizing the entire country in certain directions, incrementally eroding away at our various freedoms all at the same time, a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit there. And now we are where we are. And there's a group of people now who are just, unfortunately, we can't, we are in a situation where so many people are at odds over something that really, the government said this is just till the worst part's over. We're just kind of slowing the surge of it, right? But then that didn't mean that everybody was going to give up their freedom of consent to determine what's going to go into their bodies, for example. Some people feel very strongly about vaccines, and it's like their rights have just been swept under the rug. Some people feel very strongly about their faith and their ability to gather, because when 2 or more are gathered in his name, people who are Christians say, well, this is really important for us. I mean, to actually have had people threatened with arrest. They had this Father Ionescu, who's the from Romania. He was talking from the church just the other day. He was talking about the experiences that the Chicago police guys, they said, well, don't worry, we're going to practice social distancing before you. We're not going to take you in. But, they've actually had people dragged out of churches up in Canada. I mean, what's going on? I mean, what is this? What this is exactly what it's worse than an Orwellian. It's a combination of Brave New World and Orwellian. We've got people coming in there. It used to be we've had the flu for years and years and years. I get it. We all know it now. Okay, yeah, if you have a weakened immune system, you're going to get sick, and that makes sense. But what they've done is they've used it as an opportunity. Clearly, they've gone way overboard, and we definitely need to stand together. And a lot of parents are saying, enough of this. But it seems like things really just accelerated the last 15, 16 months, and so it's got to. People need to wake up from that funk, and we need to stay. Wait a minute. I was just trying to be a nice guy here, but at the end of the day, okay, look, at the end of the day, they've already thinned the crowd quite a bit, okay, and now, it's starting to have some real damage on our kids. It's having, it's impacting our economy, and eventually, at some point, we're going to have to stop. We're not going to be able to borrow any more money to keep things going because that's all artificial. And what our grandchildren are paying for what happened these last 2 years. They can thank the Democrats and Congressman Foster, who voted for these things, thank you very much. We really appreciate this, as they're living in their quality of life that is going to be so much lower as a result of this.
Well,
Trillions and trillions of dollars.
You talk about duplicity. So in all of this debate about we don't want to take a shot, and they're saying you have no choice, you have to, where's Planned Parenthood, the people who say we should be in charge of our own bodies? Why are they not out here arguing? Well, it's the wrong dialogue. It's the wrong side of the argument.
Remember, this all started with 10 days to flatten the curve?
Right.
No,
10 days. It was 10 days.
It was 10 years. No, it's 10 years to flatten the curve.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's 10 years,
10
right.
years.
Now it is.
And then you need 10 years to bounce it back up and put
But,
some
here's the problem with the logic of that argument originally was because, well, look, this is about a privacy issue, and say, okay, well, all right, people kind of bought into that on that side of the aisle. And now it's like, well, this is a privacy issue for us. And, there have been other things that have been happening in the last 30 years that nobody said a word about, and nobody asked about it. Hey, where's your test? But no. They just let people just go right into it. And as a matter of fact, not to harp on Donald Trump, but the guy did try to try some preventative measures, and people were giving him grief over it when he tried. Hey, maybe we need to stop people coming in from this country, and all they could talk about was his xenophobia until everything was in here and it was too late.
All right, we're going to have to take another break. When we come back, we're going to talk about national sovereignty and defense. Sovereignty, that. All that more when we return with On Target Radio. And you're listening to AM560.
The Answer.
Hard drives fail. Viruses destroy data. Having a copy of your work, photographs, financial records, and other important files is one step in a thorough backup plan. Geekometrics offers a secure online solution by placing a copy of your data off-site where it's safe from theft, fire, and unauthorized access. Losing photos and financial information is devastating. Geekometrics' secure online backup solution is a reliable way to back up important files. The most common reasons for not backing up are uncertainty about what needs to be backed up and how to do it reliably. Geekometrics provides a full-service managed solution with no storage limit. Geekometrics does all of the setup, configuring, testing, and monitoring. Your data is even safe when you travel with your Mac or PC laptop. Call 630-759-9283 to talk to a specialist who can help you keep your data safe. 630-759-9283. Geekometrics, helping you keep your data safe.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule. Changing the world, one life at a time.
My name is Ron Hurt. I've been a retired engineer now for almost 25 years. I was totally tired. Washed out completely. My upbringing was always on the natural side, medication only if necessary. And so it was just a natural inclination to take Balance of Nature. With the Balance of Nature, I got my even keel back. But the dramatic difference is endurance. The endurance impressed me more than anything. So I would definitely recommend it to anyone. I wouldn't do without it.
Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and make sure to receive this special radio offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Safer USA, Chicago's most trusted name in firearm training, is offering beginners classes, tactical pistol and rifle, long-range rifle to 600 yards, and the most comprehensive Illinois concealed carry program available. AM560 On Target Radio co-hosts David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz will prepare you to carry a firearm for personal protection, including firearm, holster, and ammunition selection. A comprehensive law review designed to keep you out of trouble and even how to deal with home invasions. Firearm, ammunition, holster, class notebook are provided. Safer USA and the Aurora Sportsman's Club invite you to participate in this one-of-a-kind Illinois concealed carry program that also qualifies you for Florida, Utah, and Arizona non-resident permits. Find out what over 6,000 students already know at saferusa.com.
Or call 815-741-3474. That's 815-741-3474. Safer USA. Choosing to own a firearm is your business. Teaching you to own it responsibly is ours.
You're listening to On Target Radio on AM560 The Answer. with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life. To participate, call the studio at 312-642-5600.
And we're back with more on Target Radio. Our guest in the studio tonight again is Michael Pierce, candidate for U.S. Congress in the 11th District. So the Second Amendment, and that's one thing that I strongly feel sets our country apart from any other country. It's kind of one of the core foundations of when our country was formed, and one of our core beliefs that allows us to have all of the other freedoms that we have. Where do you stand on the Second Amendment? What do you feel about that?
Well, look, it was in the Bill of Rights. It's not just an amendment. It was in the Bill of Rights, and it was put in the Bill of Rights for a specific reason. And anybody who's studied the Constitution a little bit, and most people who graduate high school in Illinois were supposed to have passed the Constitution test. And that's the right to bear arms, is because so that the government would not be too strong and overbearing into people's lives. Does that sound familiar? People aren't fostering revolution, but having a right to bear arms is certainly in keeping with what our Constitution says, so that the government minds itself. I mean, that's the whole idea of it. And they don't limit that either, by the way. It doesn't say people are only allowed to the right to bear arms and carry 10 rounds maximum. In those days, they would have carried, they probably couldn't carry more than that because those lead balls were so big. But, they probably didn't say everybody can have a cannon either. But, I mean, there's some sort of moderate point. But I'm an NRA member for a reason, and that's because I believe we need to protect our rights. And as we talked about a little bit earlier, Dave, is the incremental, they're trying to eat away and pull away at the threads of it until finally there's nothing left of that sweater. So I'm not only for the Second Amendment, but I think that we need to take a look at why is it that they're trying to chisel away at all of these underpinnings of all of these things. It's not just the Second Amendment that's under assault, but without the Second Amendment, then what have we got to stand against us and everybody else? And by the way, I've been to a lot of different countries where they've had despots ruling those places, okay? I've been to most of the foreign or the Eastern European nations, and we do not want to go there, okay? And one of the best ways to ensure that doesn't happen is to make sure that we are able to protect our lives, our homes, and our families.
And look at, if you loop COVID back into that, look at Australia, right?
Oh yeah.
They came, they took the guns away. They had a Second Amendment, not like ours, but sort of, right? They came, they took the guns away, and they had, look at these food lines, these lockdowns, all this crazy stuff, all because
the government has all the power. And I had a good friend of mine who was from Australia, and at the time, and he had to go back to go and register his guns. Okay, I mean, it's craziness, but they overregulated it because first it's very nuanced. Okay, oh no, we're just going to check this. We just want to make sure this is okay. I mean, I don't have to go and see Reds. I don't have to go and watch. We can see this for ourselves. We know that they're chiseling away at it for a reason, okay? And we have to hold the line. We have to make sure that the people that we elect respect that and understand why it's in place. And we stand on a precipice right now. And this is the generation that's got to wake up, because the other generations, it wasn't even up for discussion. It was not even up for discussion. Before the World War II, everybody generally said everybody knew how to shoot when they came in. Have you ever watched Sergeant York? Most everybody knew how to shoot except for a couple of guys, except the one guy from New York, and who was his buddy. And by the way, when I went into basic training, I had Sergeant York's grandnephew was in the basic training company next to mine. But yeah, we got to stand up for it. We need to bear arms to protect ourselves and our homes, and also to make sure that we have a well-armed populace in case people get smart with us. Our friends from outside of the country, for example.
Well, it's a real issue, and Madison wrote the Second Amendment. Madison wrote most of the Bill of Rights, but he wrote the Second Amendment. And even though he was a Federalist, he truly believed that he thought men were evil and that they would usurp the power of the people whenever they had a chance to have power for themselves. And he believed that the last line of defense of a nation would be the populace. And that was the purpose of the Second Amendment.
Our government fostered this 20 years ago. They were fostering this. They wanted to make sure that people knew how to fire because we were under threat. And, we don't have 1 billion people in America, by the way. We only have like 1% of America is actually serving in the military total, okay? So this is not about just so people can be against the government. It's so we can be with and maintain the entire country. So this is not something where it's one, a left or right. This is everybody's, should be involved in these decisions. And in addition to that, when, if there's bad news going on and you have 10 rounds or 100 rounds, they can go pretty quick. And especially if there's a bunch of people. And, it just makes, we're not trying to, I don't think the people who want to protect the Second Amendment, all they're standing up, I'm an American, I'm standing up for my rights. I don't walk around with a bunch of weapons, but the point is, it's my right. We don't try and take away people's right to speech unless people say, wait a minute, what are you doing? You're taking away CNN's right to speech. They get to talk what they want about, right? MSNBC talk about what they want about. So why is this even up for discussion?
Yeah, and there have been all sorts of schemes, limiting the amount of ammunition you can buy, putting taxes on, all that kind of thing.
Those are incremental ways that they're trying to reduce our freedom. It's just another, guys. It's smoke. It's smoke as they're coming in there and they're slowly pulling away our right.
Yeah, especially ammunition. In Vietnam, I learned the most important thing I ever learned about guns. When in doubt, empty the magazine. It was just, just pour lead downstream and pray.
And not everybody's James Bond, okay? It's, honestly, and if you got more than a few people coming after you for whatever reason, or if you're in a situation like we saw a lot of last year, back in the LA riots, people were prepared in some stores. They took matters in their own hand. They had to protect themselves.
Yep. All right, we're going to have to take one more break. When we come back, we're going to have action items?
Affirmative.
Okay, so we'll have action items, and we'll give you an opportunity to find out how you can get a hold of them if you need to. All that more when we return with On Target Radio, and you're listening to AM560. The Answer.
Hi, break time?
I know you.
I'm Cologuard, a prescription colon cancer screening option for people 45 plus at average risk. It seems like you take care of yourself.
I do. I play tennis. I try to eat well.
What about screening for colon cancer?
Not yet.
Don't wait. Colon cancer is more treatable when it's caught in early stages.
Tell me more.
Cologuard is non-invasive and is used at home. It detects altered DNA in your stool to find 92% of colon cancers.
92%?
Yep, even those in early stages.
This was seen in a clinical study with patients 50 and older. Any positive result should be followed by a diagnostic colonoscopy. False positive and negative results may occur. Cologuard is not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. Do not use if you have had adenomas, have inflammatory bowel disease and certain hereditary syndromes, or a personal or family history of colon cancer.
Most insured patients pay $0. Ask your provider or an online prescriber if Cologuard is right for you, or visit requestcologuard.com.
I'm on it.
Excellent.
Did you miss the open enrollment this year? I can help you purchase a PPO health insurance plan all year long that eliminates the mandatory maternity coverage. This is Tom Marabali, and if you're 50 years old and are covered by the Affordable Care Act, you're paying for maternity coverage whether you want the coverage or not. The least expensive ACA PPO health insurance plan is $540 per month with a total out-of-pocket cost of $8,550 before your bills are paid at 100%. I can eliminate the mandatory maternity coverage and lower your monthly premium down to $273 per month with a total out-of-pocket cost of $2,500 before your bills are paid at 100%. That's a savings of $6,050 in total out-of-pocket costs per person with my lower deductible, and you save $267 per month with my lower premiums. For a free quote and to see if you qualify, call me, Tom Marabali, at 630-863-3477. That's 630-863-3477.
You're listening to On Target Radio on AM560 The Answer with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life. Stand by. Here's Gretchen with your action items for the week.
Please contact your state senators, state reps, and the governor and encourage them to oppose any weakening or repeal of the Illinois Healthcare Right of Conscience Act. I just found this notification on Facebook. There is a community health freedom meetup tomorrow night, Monday, November 15th from 4 to 6 p.m. It is going to be in person and on Zoom. And it is hosted by Ronald and Latasha Fields. And it is featuring Dr. Mark Zoomhagen. He has a holistic health practice called Fearfully and Wonderfully Made down in the Kankakee area, I believe, and so he's going to be talking about natural approach to the virus, religious exemptions, masking, side effects, mandates, etc. So if you're interested, you can go ahead and PM me, and I'll send you the Facebook link for this. In order to find out where it's going to be held in person, you have to direct message the host. Safer USA is now offering classes in Geneva, Waterman, and Bonfield. Saturday and Sunday, November 20th and 21st, Illinois Concealed Carry 1. This 16-hour class will be taught by David and meets the training requirements for Illinois Concealed Carry as well as Florida and Arizona. To sign up for classes, go to saferusa.com and click on register.
You can't say masking anymore. You can't take that terrible thing and turn it into a verb. It just doesn't work.
Sorry, I'm reading off of the flyer.
And I'm going to add that I have 2 1-hour talks that I've been giving to shooting clubs and organizations. One on what the ISRA is, what they do, and another one based on my expert witness work on accidents, various accidents that have gone into litigation that I've seen. And it's really kind of interesting how experienced shooters will sometimes do something stupid and somebody gets hurt. So I've got a bunch of interesting ones too.
Well, it all comes down to complacency, and you have to break 2 of the 4 NRA rules in order for there to be a bad thing that happens.
Yep.
And
it
for
does.
some reason, people can't follow the 4 simple rules, and I'm sorry, but you need some more training if that's the case.
So there's a lot of interesting accidents that I've been working with. Michael, if people want to get a hold of you, want to help, we probably have somebody right now going, I want to give them $100,000. How do they find you?
Okay, so our email is pierceforcongress@gmail.com. And then we are almost done with our website, and that will be pierceforcongress.com.
Is that the number 4 or the word 4?
The number 4. It's pretty simple. With the Gmail? Yeah, I'm kind of a simple man, So yeah, Pierce number 4 Congress at gmail.com and Pierce number 4.com. And we'd be glad to take anybody's help. And we're just representing the voice of the people of our district and trying to, get the regular folks out there of all walks of life. It's so important for their words to be heard. And so thank you so much for letting me have the opportunity to share some of my thoughts. And thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight. It's been great.
And if your songs hit, are you just gonna give up politics and become a?
That'd be great. If we get the songs out on Spotify, we'll put a link on the campaign page, and you can download it. And then that's an easy way for us to raise money. Just keep downloading it for free, and every 1,000 hits, I get a penny. So maybe we'll get a penny. Maybe I'll make that'll be my 2 cents.
So I'll be up all night going enter.
Exactly.
Enter, to see if we can't run the money up. Well, it's been a good show. We appreciate you coming. We certainly do.
I look forward to the opportunity to come back because I'm roaring to go.
We wish you all the best of luck. Yes?
Yes.
We do indeed.
All right. Well, we'd like to thank you for listening to On Target Radio. We'd like to thank our guest, Michael Pierce. And be sure to listen next week when we'll be covering more red meat issues that affect your life.
Ooh-ah.
Hard drives fail. Viruses destroy data. Having a copy of your work, photographs, financial records, and other important files is one step in a thorough backup plan. Geekometrics offers a secure online solution by placing a copy of your data off-site where it's safe from theft, fire, and unauthorized access. Losing photos and financial information is devastating. Geekometrics' secure online backup